Alrighty, folks, so we are back at this chest here, and we are going to continue on. As it turns out, I did have some armor stashed up top, so that trip did not take me nearly as long as I thought it might. Oh crap, a desecrator. Okay, well, we are switching armor. Switching armor. And actually, you know what? I kind of feel like the Bastard Swords would be better off against Desecrators because... Actually, let me change this. They don't have the same kind of crazy attack speed that the Forsaken have. Like, the attack speed on that is... It really kills you since you have to wait so long for the, oh, I actually aggroed everything in that room, pretty much. That's unfortunate. But, yeah, you have to wait so long for the, attack animation to end. Whereas with the Desecrator here, you kind of almost have the same attack speed, to be perfectly honest, and that was cutting it a little close, guys, yes. That was definitely cutting it close. So having almost the same attack speed means that, it kind of doesn't matter. We're doing almost the same amount of damage to each other, which is interesting. Let me put... I did resupply on healing items as well. Actually, yeah, let me grab my mace as well. One more there. Pop a couple of those, one more there, and the mace hit to finish it off. Excellent. Fortunately, he didn't drop anything awesome, but oh well. It is what it is. Throw that there, let me do that, and I will switch to that, and that. Alrighty then. Now we just gotta make our way back, and there will be probably some plague spawns or some, leper soldiers. Yep, looks like it was leper soldiers that were in that room. I should probably just call them soldiers. Leprous is kind of a mouthful. Yeah. But yeah. So if you're wondering how I'm going to do this, in terms of the video, I will probably continue commentary all the way up to the point where we find the main loot cache. And then after that, I'll probably go quiet whilst I just clear out the whole dungeon. I do want to clear out the entire dungeon on video. That way I have my data, as I mentioned before, because I am doing this as much for data collection as anything else. So, yeah, but a lot of people probably don't want to see the entire dungeon full of enemies, or at least they don't care that much, because most of them don't really drop anything all that meaningful. But some of you, like me, might be interested in checking out what the drop rates for various things might be. So if you do, you know, you can continue watching the video for that. So yeah, that's almost certainly a dead-end room that may or may not have a chest in one of the corners. It looks like there's... kind of looks like there might be one there, or that could just be like a pillar or something. Let us find out. Let us find out. But yeah, thus far, yeah, that is a chest. Good. Thus far, I would say that the majority of enemies really does seem like it is going to be possessed. It seems like the majority of the enemies are possessed, and then it's kind of an even, well, not really an even split between soldiers and plague spawns, but it's slightly more soldiers than plague spawns. But yeah, it's mostly possessed, which is kind of a pain since they are the stronger of the enemies for sure. I need to try getting used to stutter step. Like, the stutter step doesn't work very well if you're lagging, and unfortunately with the dungeons being new and not optimized, it does kind of lag a little bit. Plus, it's not what it used to be. It used to be you could just spam the hell out of the digital stick there, and you could just flick it like crazy, and it would work like 80 to 90% of the time. Now, since it's much more timing based, you only have a couple of frames in between when the damage actually hits and when the attack animation ends. Oh, I got some weapon oil in that chest. Okay, so yeah, that pretty much confirms for me that opening these chests is definitely worth it. I mean, that weapon oil, once you, I guess I'll talk about this as well. I was kind of hoping that I might get the dungeon, or the design in the dungeon first, but once you get the design for the grindstone, and once you build it, so far as we can tell, the way it works is that with the grindstone, every level that you sharpen a weapon with the grindstone actually increases the damage that weapon will do by 20%. And the way we figured that out is we looked at the shop, and there is a +5 falchion in there. Oh crap, there's a desecrator. Well, shoot, son. Yeah, let me just do that real quick. And actually, I will go ahead and do this. Ah, crap, that's gonna aggro everything. Absolutely everything, of course. Of course it will. I'm gonna retreat back to a door, so I can hopefully get at least some of these guys off of me. Come on. Is there a door in here somewhere? There's a door. Oh, but it stayed open for all of them. That sucks. And that was a lot closer than I intended it to be, but oh well. Okay, so what do I want on here? That desecrator's got to be getting close-ish. Switch that and do that, I guess. There he is. Hello, Mr. Desecrator. I would like you to not desecrate me too much. Thank you. Yeah, these bastard swords, they're really not very good anymore. The attack speed is just so bad. Ah, I was hoping that would be enough. I guess I didn't gauge his life very well. This'll do though. Dead. Sweet, drop me some coal. Excellent. 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 So, I guess I'll just go with the normal enemies with this basically. This will work. Unfortunately, I am running out of high damage weapons, so if I had to fight a lot more Desecrators or Forsaken, that's going to be a little bit of an issue. That is definitely going to be an issue. Oh, right, I was talking about the grindstone before all of that ridiculousness happened. So we basically looked at the +5 falchion that's in the sharpened falchion level 5, I guess, in the shop, and we noticed that the damage that it does at +5 is essentially double the damage that a normal falchion does. So we basically just did some very simple math and said, okay, well, +5 means, 5 iterations, and if it does double damage, then just take the 100% damage increase, divide that by 5, and you get 20. So every level, essentially, should be increasing the damage output by 20%. At least that's the basic concept, so, Alright, so we're gonna try this. Oh, sweet, that worked out pretty well. What was that, 4 hits? I think that was actually only 4 hits with the halberd. So the halberd might actually be best used against the Forsaken, to be perfectly honest. That might work out much better than I thought it would. Go ahead and use that for hydration. And actually, I don't need my really good armor for the weaker mobs, so I'll just switch to my mostly broken tier 3 armor. But yeah, every level of it seems to give it a 20% increase in damage, which is pretty interesting, because we can't craft halberds. We can't craft scimitars. However, what we can do with that, essentially, is you can craft a falchion, and a falchion has 91 durability, so it actually has more durability than a scimitar has in the first place. And if you sharpen it up to level 3, it would essentially have pretty much an equivalent amount of damage to a scimitar. So if you can make +3 falchions, you essentially have the ability to craft scimitars now. Which is, I think that's pretty awesome. Now the only problem with that, they've actually already mentioned in the update notes yesterday that for the grindstone, a +1 will always work. The first level of sharpening will always work. After that, however, every single attempt at sharpening a weapon will actually have a chance to fail. So I assume it'll have a descending scale for, success rate. So like sharpness level 1 will be guaranteed every time. But like level 2 might have like a 95% success rate, level 2 or level 3 rather might have like I don't know, 85%, level 3 might be like 80%, something like that. And I assume the last level will be a pretty low chance. But if it is a static increase at each level, then we should be able to kind of gauge and say, okay, well, this. Oh wow, that's a crap room. I really don't like that room. Yeah, that's not good at all. But we should be able to figure out, like, a 40% increase with a 95% success rate of applying without breaking the weapon. And that's the other thing, is if it fails, it doesn't just waste your oil, it breaks the weapon, which really sucks. That's probably the worst part of it, to be perfectly honest. I better put on my better armor here, yeah. Now, the question is, are there any Forsaken in here? It doesn't appear that there are. I'm fine with that. But yeah, it breaks your weapon if you fail, so that's really the main killer of it. If it didn't break your weapon, then I'd be totally up for wasting weapon oil, just trying to get like a +3 or a +5 falchion all the time, or a +5 scimitar or something. That would be even better. Obviously. Ow, damn it! I got stuck on that stupid little broken tomb thing, whatever the hell it is. But yeah, the fact that it breaks your weapon kind of makes it a little bit of a deal breaker. So we'll have to play around with that once we actually unlock the grindstone. And I'll try to calculate some kind of risk reward and ratio and how far you really want to go with it. But yeah, for the time being, it's still speculation because nobody's made the grindstone table obviously yet, or the grindstone bench. Because we gotta keep doing these dungeons. We gotta grind the dungeon like crazy in order to get that done. Okay, so I see me a Forsaken up there. And what is staring me in the face? Oh, it's a. I'm surprised that didn't aggro him, to be perfectly honest. Come here, friendo. Yeah. Alright, sweet. Switch over to the halberd for Mr. Forsaken. Oh wow, I could probably use 3 and then an extra one, or an extra like mace hit just to finish him off. Okay, I didn't really realize that. It's a little hard to do in the middle of battle because you know he's gonna melt your face off with his attack speed. Like seriously, he melted me in my first run. If you guys haven't seen that, oh my goodness, that caught me off guard. I mean, fortunately, it's a thing that only catches you off guard once. Once you know he has crazy attack speed, you know, and you know, it's not really an issue anymore. But yeah, that was ugh. I guess I'll go ahead and use these bitter tinctures. Not really my preferred healing item, but they work. Alrighty then. Aha! I believe this is the room, guys. Yep, there's the sound of the witch. Now... Ooh. I managed to get the one out of there. That's good. So, what I'm gonna do... I'm gonna switch to this halberd here. And we're gonna go in just far enough to aggro the possessed and forsaken. Trying not to get caught on walls here. Yeah, that was a little risky, but we pulled it off. That was a little risky, but we pulled it off. Oh, it doesn't look like he dropped any coal or sulfur, though. That's a shame. Alright, so... looking at the mini-map, most of these guys are facing either towards the door or a little bit to the right, so I think I want to approach the room from the left. Oh, there's another Forsaken right there. Yeah, about that. Switch to this. Put my halberd in there. And... boop, boop, boop. And... alright, that actually works out pretty well if you're at full health. If you're not at full health, well, that's a different story. Okay, I'm gonna wait for this to go down a little bit before I... oh, we'll just go with that, that works. Alright, so... put that back on, put the halberd back up there, and actually... yeah, I'm gonna switch off of that bitter tincture. It's only got 1 heal left, so Alright, now we are gonna go around the left side of the room here. Mainly, I need to identify where the witch is because I don't want to proc all of the enemies. Okay, so she's right there. Okay, so I can pretty much safely go around the right side of the room then, without aggroing her. So unfortunately, this first enemy up here, whatever it is, I've got to get its attention. Okay, it's just a plague spawn. That's not a big deal then. And unfortunately, with enemies grouped up like this, sneak attacks aren't as effective as we would like them to be. Okay, well I got the Desecrator out of there. Oh, well. Possessed. Decided to join the party anyway. Okay. This seems to be like the room where I kill all of the things, apparently. Okay. So we're going to switch to that, and then I'm going to switch to this for the halberd, because I don't have enough left of that bastard sword. Just kill him with the bastard sword. And to be perfectly honest, I don't think I'm going to have enough even with using the... yeah, That's unfortunate. So I guess we're gonna have to do this. Put it on auto, and just go to town. Not really the way I would want to do that, but it works. So, now we have, I would hope, most of the big baddies out of the way. Hopefully all that's left in there are some possessed and soldiers and maybe a plague spawn. God damn it. Oh no, there's another desecrator. Okay, well, unfortunately, guys, that means I gotta go back up, and I gotta get some more weapons. Specifically, I'm actually gonna have to go back to my base and get some powerful weapons. Because I don't have any more bastard swords or halberds or anything just chilling at the top of the dungeon here. So, I can't remember if I checked out this chest or not. I think I did. Yes, yeah, I think I found some bitter tinctures in there, that's right. Before I go, I will clear out probably 1 or 2 more rooms on my way up to the entrance. I believe, yeah, I cleared that way. So, let me go ahead and open up this door, I suppose. Because again, all of these chests, most of them aren't going to drop anything all that amazing, but they all have a chance to give you a rare item. So, I mean, a lot of people might think, well, if it's a really low chance, it's not worth it. I'm like, well, to be perfectly honest, a lot of people are saying that the dungeon itself isn't worth it because of all the resources you need to use to clear out all of the enemies, mainly all the weapons and armor and heals. And to a certain extent, I kind of agree. But I mean, again, we're trading stuff that we can make for stuff that we can't. You know, I can make flanged maces and whatnot all day. Well, maybe not all day. I mean, the wire usage does get a little bit extreme after a while. But I mean, I can make wire mace or flanged maces and falchions without too much difficulty. It takes a little time to smelt down the copper or the bronze and whatnot, and to get the wires. But for the most part, it's not that bad. It's really not. So yeah, it's just, you know, the scimitars and bastard swords and the halberds and stuff. All of that, it takes some time to get all of that together. But of course, we're getting hopefully rare weapons from this. We're getting durable weapons out of this. And it seems like a claymore is, if not guaranteed, then a very, very high drop rate in the main loot cache, or the main loot chest, in pretty much every run that I've seen. Somebody said they had a run where they didn't get a claymore at the end, but pretty much everybody that I've seen post up any kind of screenshot of what they got. They've pretty much all included a claymore in there, so I would say it's just about guaranteed. Well, that's kind of a crap corner with all of the cages in the way there. And another reason why I'm trying to clear out everything is, again, I'm trying to find exactly how many enemies you're gonna fight in here on average. And if we figure that out, we can kind of determine the range of how many weapons and how many sets of armor and stuff you actually need to bring in order to clear out the dungeon. That kind of information is obviously useful for new players, so they know, you know, there's no point in attempting a dungeon until I have X amount of this and Y amount of that. But also, it's kind of useful for others who just want to figure out, okay, I'm going to be using, you know, this many of this weapon, this many of that armor, and this many heals in order for a chance to get this stuff. Is this actually worth it? And, you know, that's going to be kind of a personal question, and it'll be a different answer for different people. Personally, I say it is worth it because, again, you can't get these things any other way. And as long as you don't just, you know, get them and then use them willy-nilly on whatever, I mean, you know, using a flame sword on a leper would be, ugh, that'd be such a waste. But yeah, it's, as long as you save them for the proper occasion, they will keep, and you'll be able to stockpile a bunch of them. But yeah, that'll be the end of this episode. In the next episode, I will go ahead and kill that desecrator, kill whatever that other enemy was, as well as the witch. We'll see what's in that loot cache, and then I will finish up clearing out the rest of the dungeon. So, till then, guys, take care.